Okay.
Guy, when you muted yourself, I think it muted the music.
So Maire, you want to introduce the second one?
Yeah, so the next two songs are also by Robert Schumann, and they are from a large song cycle collection of short songs called Dichterliebe, the poet's loves. So this is two very short songs with the most magnificent piano accompaniments. The melody, vocal melody, is almost incidental to the beautiful piano accompaniments.
Well, a little bit messed up by me, but anyway, hopefully it'll comes through. So I just got a text message that some people actually cannot see the video. Is that true? Can everyone in the audience see the video in addition to hearing it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Great.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so the next song is by the late French romantic composer Gabriel Fauré, who, similar to Schumann, wrote a lot of piano music, but he also wrote a lot of wonderful songs. He was also a great teacher. Before Maura talks about what the song is about, the title is Lydia, and you can imagine it's about some beautiful young lady. But we also think that it may be a play on words, because if you look at the key signature, it has it indicates that the composition was written in the key of F. However, we think Lydia might be a reference to the Lydian mode, because all you have to do is change B flat to B natural, and then the F major becomes the Lydian mode. It's basically, you know that Western music is based on scales, a series of tones with defined intervals from one note to the note that's one octave above, which is twice the frequency. And there are many different scales depending on how these intervals are arranged. And they have funny names, you know, diatonic, that's major and minor scales, and chromatic, and they're heptatonic, which is the typical 7 notes per scale. Chromatic actually has 12, because it also has all the half steps. There's octatonic, which has 8 steps, and that's what's often used in jazz. And pentatonic, you hear a lot of that in Chinese music. You can imitate that by playing all the black keys on the piano. And they're whole tone scales that have only 6 notes per 1 octave. But there are also a whole series of scales which are called modes, and these originate from ancient Greek music. And they entered European music in the Middle Ages, especially in the Christian church. And a lot of the Gregorian chants are these. And they have these funny names: Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. We'll talk about Aeolian later in a different context. And so this Lydian mode is basically if you play all the white keys on the piano from F to F. And we think that this song, it alternates between being in F major and in the Lydian mode. So Maura, what is the song about?
Yeah, this again, another love song. You know, an awful lot of the lieder, which is the word technical term for art song in the 1800s, 1900s. A lot of it is love song. Most of the repertoire is love songs. So Gabriel Fauré, he was pretty much known for a lot of his organ music, and he played the organ, I think, in Paris, taught at the conservatory there. And he wrote some really wonderful church music. He has a cantata, Canticle of Jean Racine. He's got a beautiful requiem. This is just a little snippet in the same style, and it's just purely love song. He talks about the beautiful face of his beloved, the beautiful smile, the lips, the neck, everything like that. So, and that he would just die without her. So, so I'll hand it over to you, Guy.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Okay, Maura, do you want to introduce the next one?
Yeah, so the next song is called To the Queen of Heaven, and it's by a composer from Britain. His name is Thomas Dunhill. He was born around 1875. There seems to have been a lot of really important composers of art song in London at that time, who were born around in the 1870s. And this is very much in the church style, almost in the Baroque style. And absolutely wonderful song that you hardly ever hear. I heard it when I was a teenager. Janet Baker was a famous mezzo singing it, and I loved it. So I was thrilled when my singing teacher handed it to me, because I'd never heard somebody sing it in concert. But I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, the next one is a song by George Frederick Handel. Again, Maura, you have to explain it.
Yes, so here's another hymn to the Virgin Mary, and this time it's in Latin. Hail Mary, Queen of Heaven. And it's interesting because Handel apparently is well known for taking snippets of other composers' works and using them to make interesting compositions of his own. One example might be the Harmonious Blacksmith, which I feel comes quite clearly from one of Bach's piano preludes, the prelude in B flat. But anyway, this piece that George Handel wrote, this one is not so famous as a song, but it's a pretty famous piece of music that is part of his water music that he basically reworked later on to include it in his string set there. So I hope you enjoy this.
Okay, the next song, or actually next two songs are by the great Russian pianist and composer Sergei Rachmaninoff. And the first one is called The Lilacs. And I think if you've spent all your life in the South, you might not have seen lilacs because they don't grow well in hot weather. They're a bush with lots of big cluster flowers, usually lilac purple in color, hence the name. And they usually bloom in the spring in May in Michigan, where I'm from. And this song was composed together with 11 other songs that were published in 1902. And Rachmaninoff wrote these largely to help pay for his honeymoon. And they were dedicated to his wife. Another song that we will play later, How Fair This Spot, is also from this set. Around 1908, Rachmaninoff began to receive bouquets of lilacs at his performances from an anonymous admirer. The lilacs arrived at the end of every concert or recital he gave throughout the world. And that went until 1918. And in that year, a poet, her name was Felka Rousseau in Russia, identified herself to Rachmaninoff as the mysterious donor. She stated that she would have preferred to remain anonymous, but was curious as to why so much time had gone since Rachmaninoff had appeared in Russia. And Rachmaninoff explained that as long as the current political situation remained as it was, he was unlikely to return. Soon after that, the lilacs stopped coming. And Lilacs was only one of two of Rachmaninoff's own songs that he transcribed for solo piano, the other called The Daisies. And he made this arrangement in 1913, and he often played it as an encore piece. And he recorded it multiple times. We can actually listen to Rachmaninoff himself play this. It's beautiful, and I have to learn that transcription sometime. It's almost a piece of impressionism. But then following the Russian Revolution, Rachmaninoff and his family left Russia. They settled in New York City, and with his main source of income coming from piano and conducting performances, he had less time available for composition. Between 1918 and 1943, when he died, he completed just 6 works, but these are great works. The Rhapsody on a Theme of Paganini, the Symphony No. 3, and the Symphonic Dances. And in 1942, he relocated to Beverly Hills, California. 1 month before his death from advanced melanoma, he was granted American citizenship. So he was an American. So I hope you enjoy Lilacs. And Maire, do you want to explain the words of Lilacs and In the Silent Night?
A guy, I think their words are probably attached to, but
Okay.
The Lilacs is again another love song. And I mean, I really think you can feel the beauty of nature through this song. It's so simple but profound at the same time.
And it's unusually sunny for Rachmaninoff, who apparently
Exactly.
rarely smiled, and his music is a little bit on the sad side, of course. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed those. I really enjoy playing the Rachmaninoff songs. Um, the next song is a little bit of out of order, but it's by Max Reger. Maura, do you want to explain this one?
Oh, yes, yes, Maria Veganite. Again, another song about Mary, and it's a Christmas song. So it talks about Mary and the baby and the beautiful nature and the surroundings. And it just feels there's very much a stillness that you can feel through the writing. It's very simple. It's a very short song, but it talks about the birds singing in the background. Meanwhile, you have the baby Jesus. It's very, very beautiful. There's a wonderful singer called Sissel from Norway who does a wonderful job with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. If you enjoy this particular song, you can take a look at that over the Christmas time. Yeah, so Guy, did you want to say something about Max Reger?
Not so much. I mean, he's sort of, his music starts out a little bit sounding like Brahms, but then it takes off into much more modern. And I think he wrote some very complex works, especially for organ. And this song is just so beautiful. It's definitely a lullaby. You can hear it in the rhythm for sure. Okay, I hope you enjoy it. Okay, now we return to Rachmaninoff for another really beautiful song, How Fair This Spot. Maura, you want to explain this?
So it's funny, Guy. I thought that you had cut out the "In the Secret of the Silent Night," which so we were kind of describing this one before the last Rachmaninoff set. And this again, this is a short but very elegant song. Rachmaninoff writes for the voice and piano so well. It just seems to flow very easily. And even the Russian language fits so beautifully with the way the music is written. And this is again talking about the beautiful meadows, the carpet of flowers, and the whiteness of clouds, and just being in a still spot alone with God, talking about the flowers, his dreams, and then his love in the background. It's always something about his love in his dreams at the very end.
I have to give Moira great credit because she's singing these Rachmaninoff songs in Russian. So. Now I'd like to have you listen to a solo piece by Franz Liszt. It's a little bit unusual for Liszt. Most of you think of Liszt as writing some very flashy, flamboyant, virtuosic music, but he also wrote some very quiet and soulful music as well. And this is a late work of Liszt, inspired by his time on an island in the middle of the Rhine River called Nonnenwerth. The Countess Marie Dagout, and you'll hear about her later, left her husband to live with Liszt for about 5 years, and they had several kids together, including the future wife of Wagner. For 3 years, the couple spent their summers on this island, which is rather desolate and had a few fishermen's cottages and a dilapidated convent. Liszt's friend, Prince Lichnowsky, visited them and wrote a poem called, I can't pronounce German, Die Zell in Nonnenwerth, the convent on Nonnenwerth. And Liszt then wrote a song based on this poem and dedicated it to Marie Dagout. The song had a special significance for Liszt. He returned to it many times over the next 40 years, producing at least 4 different versions of a piano piece based on the song. And in fact, the one I'm going to play is the 4th and final version. I think it's the best one. It conveys the emotions the best, I think, and it's perhaps the least virtuosic. And they all share the same melancholy atmosphere and a sense of regret. I started to play this piece when the damned CCP pandemic started in earnest in March, and resonated with my feelings then of depression, isolation, and looking back to pre-pandemic happier times. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, the next solo piece, actually, I recorded it at a performance at my house back in December of 2019, and it's To Spring by Edvard Grieg. You know, Grieg was a Norwegian composer and pianist of the later Romantic era, sort of contemporary of Brahms. And his use and development of Norwegian folk music in his own compositions brought the music of Norway to international consciousness, as well as helping to develop a national identity, much like Jean Sibelius did for Finland. He's most famous for his beautiful piano concerto and incidental music to the Ibsen play Peer Gynt, with a very famous excerpt, you know, in the Hall of the Mountain King. He wrote lots of short solo piano pieces, most of them in a collection of what are called lyric pieces. There are about 66 of these, and To Spring is one of them. For me, it's very beautiful, almost otherworldly, trance-like and rapt. Not rap, but rapt. The last section of the piece with its rapid harmonic modulations, I think, could only have been written based on the previous groundbreaking work of Liszt. I hope you enjoy it. Beethoven's 31st. The penultimate piece is a long one. It's a Beethoven sonata, the second from last sonata that he wrote. And this is from a performance that I gave at Canterbury Court Senior Citizen Home back in January of 2020. We also perform many of the same songs together, Maire and I, at this performance. And this performance, I have to warn you, is not perfect. I have many problems, but hopefully the music will shine through. Thank you for listening. Sonata, as probably most of you know, 2020, the world will be celebrating the 250th anniversary of the birth of Beethoven. Actually, just to show how ancient I am, I remember celebrating the 200th anniversary. Anyway, long story. It's interesting, Beethoven wrote 32 piano sonatas, and most of them are great masterpieces. The last three he actually wrote around the same simultaneously. So there are a lot of common features for these last three sonatas. And he finished this one, number 31 in A flat, opus 110, on Christmas Day, 1821. So it's appropriate for the season. And this was actually also special for me because this was my teacher when I was a teenager. This was his favorite sonata to perform. And the piece is unusual in its structure. The first movement's in sonata form, which we would expect. The second movement is a scherzo, Beethovenian scherzo. It has a trio section that really, to me, sounds out of tune. It sounds like it could only be written by someone who's deaf, like Beethoven was. And the last movement is very unusual in structure. It's in about 6 sections. It starts with an introduction, then there's a sad song in German, Klagende Lied or something like that. And then there's a fugue, a 3-part fugue, which is based on ascending fourths. You'll hear that here. And actually the germ of that theme comes from the first theme of the first movement, which I won't try to explain, but the theme of that fugue starts like this. See, these are all fourths, intervals of fourths. 1, 2, 3, see, fourths. And then it's interrupted by a return to the sad song, and then the fugue returns, but in inverted form. The fourths descend. So you'll hear it go like this. Let's see, in a different key too. And then that's followed by a very triumphant, very, very joyous section. And we know that Beethoven, around this time, suffered from a serious illness. Something was wrong with his liver, cirrhosis or something he had from trouble. And you can just hear in this last movement how grateful he is, how the trouble he went through, and then how grateful he is for recovery. So anyway, I'm trying to play this. I don't know. I am a little bit nervous, but Okay, thank you for listening to that, despite all the mistakes. But I think it's a great piece of music. And so now that you've had the main course, I want to leave you with a nice dessert. One of my favorite pieces that I've played for many years. I even played it for my grandmother's 90th birthday celebration. This is the Aeolian Etude by Chopin. So you know, Frederick Chopin was a great Polish and French composer and pianist. He composed 27 etudes. In French, of course, etude means exercise, and certainly each of these helps the pianist learn some aspect of piano technique, like right hand arpeggios, or strong left hand, singing legato, double thirds, which are terribly difficult, octaves, etc. However, all of these are great pieces of music as well. They're expressive, colorful, and at the time they were written, revolutionary. In this sense, study is used as in visual art, and each piece is a study of mood and a musical color or texture. There are two main sets, each 12 pieces each, Opus 10 and Opus 25. Opus 10 was dedicated to Liszt, and Opus 25 was dedicated to Marie Dagout. Several have names associated with them, not given by Chopin, but by editors or other pianists. The Revolutionary, you've probably heard, the Ocean, Winter's Wind, etc. The one I will try to play is called the Aeolian Harp, and that name was given to it by Robert Schumann. And Aeolus was an ancient Greek god of the wind. The Aeolian harp is an ancient instrument. It's a wooden box with a sounding board with strings stretched across two bridges. It's actually played by the wind and utilizes a principle in physics called the von Karman vortex effect. And exactly how it works was figured out by the great 20th century physicist Lord Rayleigh. He also discovered argon, for which he received the Nobel Prize, and he also figured out why the sky is blue. And he also defined what's called the Rayleigh limit, which is the maximum resolution of light microscopy, which has only been broached in the last 10 or 20 years. So hopefully you enjoy this Aeolian etude as much as I do. And please ignore the mistakes. Okay, thank you very, very much for listening to this long program. I think on behalf of Maura and I want to thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you found it at least somewhat enjoyable. Thanks again.
Wow, so good, guy.
Oh, thank you.
It was so wonderful. Thank you, Guy.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job, Guy. It's Eric. How's it going?
Oh, good. Hey, how are
Nicely
you?
done. Really good.
I haven't
That's
seen you in a
fantastic,
long
man.
time.
No, it's been a while. No, it's really, really good though, man. The Beethoven Sonata was outstanding.
It takes so much
That's-
concentration. My God.
Oh God, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, impressive.
And, I messed up, that middle part, which I say sounds out of tune. I always have trouble with that. I can play
Wow.
it at home, but when I'm playing it for other people, anxiety causes lots of trouble.
Well, you should record it when there's nobody else in the
Yeah,
audience,
that's right,
Hey, well, I look forward to the next one. You do the Emperor Concerto too, right?
Oh,
Isn't
I'm
that
working
coming
on
up?
that. That's really, I had a lesson yesterday. Oh my God, there's so much. to it. Yeah, I'm trying to improve, and I'm really learning a lot of music. Yeah.
Cool, fantastic, man. Well, good for you for keeping it up.
Yeah.
And
So,
yeah, really good
Did your
seeing you.
kids play any music?
No, they don't actually.
Oh.
They're big aficionados, but they don't play any instruments. So,
Aficionados like
we-
you.
yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, so great. Well, hey, really good to see you, and we'll catch up soon. Okay, thanks
Okay,
so much for
excellent.
inviting me to that. I
Thank you
really
so much for
enjoyed it.
attending. It's really
It was a
treat
pleasure.
for me.
Hi,
Thank you.
hi, this is Jeanette. I
Oh,
think
hey,
it, so one thing that I particularly thought was very thoughtful for the times is that you and Maire Lang were both wearing a mask while playing and singing together.
Yeah,
So good
I
for
didn't
you.
particularly enjoy that. I
I
tell
bet
you.
you didn't, and she didn't either. However, you did the right thing.
Well, actually, Maura designed her own masks, and we recorded this program 2 weeks ago with a different mask, but it was causing trouble as she was inhaling. It was kind of,
Yeah.
impeding her breathing, so she redesigned it.
Yeah, it's interesting because we've gone to the Carms and I have gone to the opera, and they're also playing. They're also singing with masks,
Oh,
and they take when they take their masks off, they play in very interesting cages. So
Oh,
it's really interesting to see how people are adapting to the times, because we know that singing is one of the activities that causes the most aerosol droplets.
right.
So I think you did the right thing, even though it's hard to do. So
Yeah.
congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thanks to
Thank you.
Maura.
It looks like Donald Duck, actually, the one I'm wearing.
Yeah,
I love
it's
your tree, by the
interesting.
way. Beautiful.
Very good, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Good job, Bum.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks
This is
to
my
both
sister,
of
by
you.
the way.
It
Oh,
was
hi,
really
Erin.
great.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, good seeing
You
you.
heard this program mostly live when we played it.
I did. I was like,
That's
I
right.
kind of recognize some of those
Yeah.
songs, but it was, and the
We
one was the
recycled
exact
some of
same
it. Yeah.
recording that I was in the audience for, but it was delightful. It's
Oh, thank you.
you
Thank
could hear those over and over again.
you. I appreciate it. See
Yeah.
you soon.
Yeah. See you around. Take
Bye.
care.
Uma, you're muted. You might want to just click your
Oh.
microphone there so we can hear you.
Thank you so much for putting this together.
Oh, thank you, Uma, for permitting me to do it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for your attendance.
Great job, Guy.
Oh,
That was
thank you.
amazing.
Well, you could hear all my mistakes, Jovan.
No, not at all. Not at all. That was
This
great.
is a new friend of mine. He is a post-bac student, and he studied biology and piano at a local university called Oglethorpe, and he loves to play Rachmaninoff. And
Yes.
so I recently gave him some advice on his experiments, and I said, well, we should play some of the Rachmaninoff two piano suites together.
That would be a
Cool.
great time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I especially enjoyed the Rachmaninoff piece you played. That was great. And then the Chopin Etude, the last one, that was
Yeah, isn't it beautiful? Yeah.
yeah, it sounded very fun to play,
Well, it's not. It gives me great anxiety every time. But yeah,
Yeah.
it has to come off as it's supposed to sound effortless, but it does require lots of effort. And there's lots of
yes,
notes.
yeah, it
There are
did
lots of
sound like,
notes,
yeah.
but you only want to hear the melodic notes, you see. The other
Yeah.
notes are basically, the strings vibrating in response to the wind.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, you had a very graceful touch there. That was it was very nice listening. I could hear
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
It was
I really
great.
appreciate it, Yvonne.
Mhm.
Thanks for
And
tuning in.
good job for the singer as well. She was amazing.
Yes, we've been working together for a long time, so you can see that we are pretty much in sync as well.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you say that,
yeah.
Maura?
I'm muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, without the masks, we do a bit better, to be honest.
Right.
It was great. Yeah, you guys played well together. I'm trying to find somebody that I can play with that could maybe play violin or piano with, or singing. I've never played with a singer before that would. I take that back. I did play one time Der Elkrong. It's like a Schubert piece for my for a small concert at Oglethorpe. But that's about it. It's nothing too difficult, You guys
By the
did a
way,
great job.
how's that plasmid behaving?
Oh, so we got some colonies that grew when we had colonies grow a while back, and I saved the plate because I suspected that they were true colonies, but we could never really get them to grow in LB amp. And then when you guys suggested to reduce the ampicillin concentration of the broth, and then Dr. Hiroshi was telling me about to where for oversaturation. So we wound up reducing the ampicillin concentration and just letting it grow for an hour. And then I put it into a whole new aliquot of like 5 mils of LB amp. And so they grew, and then I extracted the plasmid, and we just sent it off for sequencing what we got.
Okay.
So
well, great.
Yeah, hopefully it's the right thing,
Yeah.
But they looked like real colonies, they didn't look like
satellite or something.
Super. Yeah. And I sequenced them, I PCR'd for our product, and our product was there.
Okay,
we just have to make sure it's the mutated one.
Right. Okay, well, good luck. I'm glad.
Thank you very much. Yeah, congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
thanks for tuning in. See you later.
So, Guy, is Richard your brother or your cousin?
No, he's my first cousin. Remember, my dad had an identical twin brother, and so Richard is my first cousin from my uncle George.
I could see some family resemblance for sure.
Hey, Richard.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for tuning in.
Both of you did an excellent job. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Richard is an oral surgeon, and he also studied chemistry. So I'm thinking actually of bringing him to my lab to do, some kind of a volunteer project. I can't afford to pay him at his rate. But anyway.
Yeah, man, I don't work for cheap,
That's funny.
I'll take just a cup of coffee will work.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks
I really
again.
appreciate you listening. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. See you soon. Bye.
Oh, hi, Donna.
Bye-bye. That's my sister, Donna.
Oh, hello. Okay, I've heard so much about you. Right.
I haven't heard you guys perform together, and this is the first time, so it was beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
It was a beautiful voice.
You have to hear the other soprano that I work with too. She has even a bigger voice.
Oh, she's double the size of my voice. I have a small voice. I was a professional choral singer.
Maura's intonation is absolutely perfect. This is what's so amazing.
No, you guys do a beautiful job.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for tuning in.
This is like a family gathering, and I'm
Yeah, I know, it's
intruding
kind of
here.
funny, isn't it?
I should go and let you chat together.
Well,
Bye, I will see you soon.
most of these people never have come to my performances, so that's actually one advantage of Zoom, I suppose. Yeah.
And the sound
I have
quality
you
in
there.
Zoom was okay. It was okay. It used to be
Not too
terrible,
bad,
but it
not
was
too bad.
okay.
And then there, one of those guys that Eric, I don't know if you saw him. He
Yeah.
was one of my best friends in St. Louis at Wash U. You know, back in the 1980s. He is a brilliant plant biologist, and he used to work. Well, I can't remember the different places, but he has his own company. It's very successful.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, Guy, I didn't realize it was going to be such a big performance with so many people on Zoom.
Well, I didn't
What
want
a
to frighten
shock.
you.
I thought there was going to be 4 people on Zoom.
No. Well, we've had those kind of small audiences at the Canterbury Court when the publicity engine doesn't work so
fails.
well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have had notes in front of me to give proper notes had I known there was going to be so many people.
No, you did a great job. You have so much knowledge, and you know,
Things.
you sound so natural. It's great. It's great. Did your daughter in Spain listen in?
Oh, I didn't even tell her. Well, actually, I
no.
think it's a bit late because she's 6 hours ahead.
Ah,
So
yeah,
it would
I
have been
see.
really late. So
Yeah, yeah.
I had just been talking to her before before we went on.
Mhm. Okay, well, great. Well, thank you so much. And I'm signing out. Thanks everyone for listening and tuning in. It's been great
Good
fun for
luck
me.
with everything.
Okay,
Safe
good luck,
travels.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.